Let's now actually write our very first line of JavaScript code. And here I am in my text editor brackets that we just set up in the last lecture. And I hope that you already downloaded the starter files from the course. I already have them here on my desktop. So it's in this folder here. And you see that here I have the index.html file. Okay? And so going back to the brackets text editor, all we have to do in order to start a new project is to hit this button here and then click Open Folder. And so the folder that I want as my project folder is this one here. Okay, and so now all I have to do is to hit Open. And so this is now the project folder, and it opened here this this index.html file. So you see that this is here just a very bare bones HTML structure without any JavaScript in it at this point. Okay, and so let's now actually add some. Now, there are two ways in which we can add JavaScript to a website. And the first way is with inline scripts, and the second one is to add an external JavaScript file in which we can then add all of our JavaScript code. And let's start with the inline script. Okay, so all we have to do is to write script. Give it some space, and then in here we can write our very first line of JavaScript. And what we're going to do now is to simply print to the JavaScript developer console some text. Okay, and so all we have to do is to write console.log and then some text. And we will write hello world. And this is kind of a standard text that we print out whenever we are learning a new language or like starting a new app or something like that. Okay, so hello world, you will see this here all the time when you search for tutorials on the web or something. Okay, and then to finish the line, we always have to add a semicolon like this. And so that is our very first line of JavaScript code here. So nothing really fancy, all it does is to log to the developer console this hello world text. Okay, then we give it a save and open it up in the browser. I have installed a brackets plugin to automatically save the file whenever I leave the app, and that's called autosave. And so I don't always have to save the file manually. Okay, so I'm going to leave now here and then open up this folder, double click the file, and then it's going to open it right in the browser. So on the left side in our code editor, we write our code, of course, and then in the browser on the right side, we will have our results. And to actually see these results, we have to open up our JavaScript developer console. And you can do that by hitting Command Option J or Control Option J on your keyboard as a shortcut like this. Or you can also right click, hit Inspect, and then come to the console like this. And here you see that we already have our hello world printed to the developer console. And you see on this side here that it comes from index.html on line 13. So exactly this line that we have here. So great, it works. So again, nothing really fancy here. All we do is to log some text to the console. And that's what we're going to do here throughout the section. So we're going to log some text all the time to the console because we're not really doing anything here in the browser itself. So no real website, because that's something that we're going to take care of later. For now, we are just really learning the JavaScript language. And so logging some values here to the developer console is perfect for that kind of application. Okay, so this is how we do inline scripts here. Now let's learn how to add an external script to our site. Okay, so first off, of course, we create a new file. And I'm calling it script.js. Okay, and now let's actually add the same code here. So console.log and then hello world again. And now I'm using 3 of these exclamation marks here, just so that it's a different kind of text here than before. Okay, then back in our index.html file, we can now, of course, delete this code here. We leave the script because we still need it, but now what we do is to define the source attribute. So we write source and then script.js. Okay, and so now our script file and our HTML file are linked through this. Now, if the script was like in another folder, like for example called JavaScript or JS, then we would have to write like js/script.js, but that is not the case here, and so let's get rid of that. And so that's already all we have to do to add an external script to our website like this. So let's come back here, reload, and now we have hello world again, but with our 3 exclamation points. And then you also see that it comes from script.js on line 1 now. And so that's exactly this text that we have here. Okay, and from now on, we will use this script.js file here because it's always best to have the code in an external file. So the advantage of the inline script that we had before is that we don't have to load an additional file, but it's still better to have everything in an external file because it allows us to nicely keep the HTML and the JavaScript separated in different files. Okay, and so that's what we're going to do throughout the rest of the course. Okay, and that's already it for this lecture. So you learned the difference between inline and external scripts, and you wrote your very first line of JavaScript where we logged this text here to the console. And with that being said, let's now move on together to the next lecture where you will learn what JavaScript actually is. So see you there in a second.